Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. We're going to be talking about Metazoo Cryptid Nation today. We'll take a look at first edition, Kickstarter, as well as second edition. We're in a weird market slump, really the first Metazoo market slump, which is really a whole TCG slump, but it's definitely affecting Metazoo. And time will tell, is this as a result of Wilderness pre-orders and moving into that, or is this just a regular TCG slump, or is it something else? And time will tell with that. Speaking of Metazoo pre-orders, if you'd like to pre-order Wilderness and you're looking for guaranteed orders, I just got my tracking numbers today from distribution. So these will be going out on release of the product. Really cool booster boxes looking like. This set's got me excited. I think it's going to have some really cool stuff. Of course, you got Bigfoot and the unicorn. That releases at the end of the month, so make sure you are getting your pre-orders in. And if you're a Patreon, I did message you with a patron discount. So let's hop in and take a look at all this. If you want access to all this stuff as a collection tracker, I do have that as part of the Patreon as well. Let's hop over to a second edition and start there. Sealed boxes are sitting around $85 now. That being said, I know that on Facebook they're moving for, if you order in volume, they are selling for less than that. But if you're looking to buy like a single box on the open market, you're paying around $85. Spell books are still sitting in that $28 price point. Release decks at $15. The volume of this stuff has slowed down. Again, I think a lot of my personal opinion is a lot of attention is moved towards Wilderness, and people are waiting to see what does the Wilderness price point look like. So a lot of this stuff, the volume of it is not super huge, but that is the remaining prices in the last sold pricing. We're going to skip through all the auras, the non-foil stuff. We're going to go straight to the reverse hollows. Reverse hollow bronzes are down 22%. You've got a lot of downshifts here to an average of 45 cents. We're talking dollars and cents here. It's not really that big of a deal for the reverse hollow. Reverse hollow silver, reverse hollow silver are down 13%. This is off of a 3-week uptick from 50 cents, and it's kind of just retracing back down to 73 cents here. Some of the key ones, Kentucky Hellhound is down 50 cents. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Squonk is down 12 cents. Anyway, reverse hollow golds are down 10% to an average of $1.38. Mothman still sitting right at $13. Loveland Frogman still moving. I just recently sold a big stack of Loveland Frogmans on TCG Player. You've got a lot of stuff moving. Chaos Crystal at $3. Forest Gods Amber is a weird one. TCG Player's all jacked up. They only have one offering of that one, FYI. All in all, a little bit of softness here too. Average price of $1.36. And then your hollow golds are down just 2%. These have been pretty stable here, sitting at the $4 to $4.50 price point. Your Mothman still sitting at $50. Not really much movement there. Loveland Frogman at $7. Power Up Red on the way up. This is definitely a card that people are looking to buy. We have the Metazoo tournament, the 250K tournament coming up, and Power Up Red is a card that is in a lot of the Metazoo deck. So that one's up 38%. Quetzalcoatlus, of course, is one of the decks that goes around, the Lightning deck. Although I am hearing that we are going to see a huge shift in competitive play with Wilderness, and that will be included in the 250K tournament. So kind of the cat's still out. I don't know if that's what it's saying. Who knows what the meta is going to end up looking like is the point. So make sure you're sticking around for that. We'll try to do some deck techs and stuff if you are planning on playing in that $250,000 tournament. Looking at the box topper, you are up 6% from down 21% last week. These are still pretty up and down. I do know people who have been opening a lot of boxes and just looking at the box toppers, and then trying to sell packs and that kind of thing. That's been pretty popular going on. Blue Ink, still have not seen a sold listing in quite a while of the Blue Ink. I guess they are opening box toppers and not hitting them is what seems to be going on. Average box topper sitting at around $12. Looking at your EV calculation then, if you don't include the non-foil cards, based on the pull rates, which this one is actually accurate, they packed the boxes correctly. If you do not include the non-foils, so you're just including your 12 hollow golds, 13 reverse hollow golds, 4 silvers, and 6 bronzes, you're sitting at a total price there of $84.95. So it's about breaking even. If you're looking to, go hunting for, your box topper really adds like $12. So if you're looking to go hunting for the Blue Ink, and you have the ability to kind of list some cards on TCG Player and let them kind of sit there for a couple days, couple weeks, as they slowly sell and get your money back. It does seem like it would be worth it. You'll lose about 10%, but you will be able to shoot for this blue ink if that's what you want to do. Looking at first edition then, sealed boxes down 11% to about $707. Now, again, we're seeing some of these sell on Whatnot. I have seen for like $650. I know, again, one of the things I can't stress enough, I think a lot of retailers or the Whatnot streamers who had these in their inventories and they were sitting on 15, 20 boxes of Crypto Nation First Edition now are getting the bills for their Wilderness. So they have to pay $20,000 to get their boxes of Wilderness. They have to pay X amount of dollars to get their stuff that they they bought from stores or they bought directly from Whatnot. And so what you're seeing as a result is people selling some of the previous product to fund their purchases of Wilderness. And you see that both at a individual level, and you also see that at a store level. And that is something that's really important to acknowledge and notice. And then meanwhile, we also have this kind of TCG market that's going down. So yeah, 707, that doesn't look great. And there's a lot of reasons that you could say that with. My particular one, I think as a wider market stance, my opinion, this is now my opinion, not just the facts. My opinion is it's a result of people gearing up for Wilderness. I know that that's from the people I talked to, a lot of the conversation. So Spellbooks also down to 145. We're down 11% there on the booster boxes. That's kind of the important stuff. No real sales of the decks lately. Second edition coming out really slowed down the sales of any of these decks. These were moving pretty dang good, honestly, way back when. And then second edition came out and it just seemed like it put a huge flat line on these first edition decks. Blister packs, similar. Like they even got up towards of $75-$80. Now they're back down to 55, and they've been pretty consistent as of late, as people are just saying, hey, I'll just pick up the second edition instead. So if we take a look, the top all the way through to the reverse hollow bronze, you're down 14% here, with a lot of significant downs. No real thing. The only thing, Space Penguins holding true. My penguin boys. Bunnyman also holding true. Everything else across the board kind of down. Your reverse hollow silvers are down 19%. Salem's Witches way down to $1.50. Kind of last sold stuff. Ironfield Monster down 25%. Chibiquetza staying true. Funeral Mountain Terror Shot staying true. Black Cat staying true. Kentucky Hellhound staying true. On your reverse hollow golds, we're down 15%. Now keep in mind, we were up 27% last week. So this is just kind of a retracement. So an average price of $11.25 on these reverse hollow golds. Your Mothman down to $80. Bigfoot at $16. Some softness like Beast of Busco, the kind of lesser known ones. But then like these ones are weird. Like Chaos Crystal was $30, then $47, then $30. We're just, the market's really trying to figure it out. And I know you could see some of these on. I know if you look up every single one of these on Facebook, you'll be able to find them a little bit cheaper. But TCG Player and eBay is kind of predominantly where we're looking on this stuff. So make sure you're shopping around, doing yourself a favor. But I mean, like, that's just an interesting price point. These are some of these artifacts that are on the reserve list being cheap. Looked like a target, and I know a lot of people who are buying second edition artifacts because I've been opening for singles and putting on TCG Player. So I do sell quite there's people who will buy 20, 30 artifacts on TCG Player in one thing. One of the reasons I do sell on TCG Player is just to see what the market is, to kind of fuel these videos and really get a feel for what the market's looking like. The artifacts are one of those things that just, if somebody buys them, typically they buy like 10 or 11 or 12. So it's interesting to see the first edition ones dropping a little bit when the second edition ones seemingly are selling. Let's see what they actually, the second edition ones are they're pretty, like a couple of them are down, but for the most part, they're pretty flatline. So I guess people just like the investment that's cheaper than the first edition. Anyway, your first edition reverse hollows are sitting down 15% to an average of $11. Hollow golds are also down. These are more stable though than the reverse hollows for sure. We were up 1.5% last week, down 6% this week. Looking at $26.55 on average. Your Mothman sitting around is actually starting to move back up. So we had 2 weeks of softness for the Mothman. Actually 3 weeks of softness. $325, $320, $307, $290. and now we're starting to move on our way back up. And you're seeing this with the, even the graded cards. They were down across the board the last couple of weeks, and now it seems like those who didn't want to keep them have kind of offloaded them, and the people who are now, you're starting to see a lot more trades, people offering Pokemon cards for Mothmans and things like that. So you're starting to see a little bit more interest pick back up in some of those key cards. It'll be interesting if that transitions over to the rest of the stuff. But across the board here, down ticks here, even your kind of main cards here are still all down. And then your artifacts, again, still soft, which I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand why those artifacts are down. Earth's Core at 0%, Unending Fire Crystal at 0%, Eternal Snowflake is actually up. The rest of them, though, kind of trending down just a little bit. Not anything too concerning, I guess, for the full hollows, other than Mermaid Scales, down 20%. So looking at the box toppers, we're down 4% here. Again, that's 3 weeks in a row that we're a little bit soft. And we'll see what happens. Post Wilderness is going to be really interesting for Metazoo, I think. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting time to look at the market, like 2-3 weeks after Wilderness, to see, are we still seeing Cryptid Nation and Nightfall softness, or does it shift and people say, okay, I've got my Wilderness, now it's time, the market's down, I'm going to go pick up the other things that I left behind. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So your red ink for 5K, again, it's just like hard to find sold listings for that stuff. A lot of that stuff happens behind closed doors in a lot of these private groups. So if you have a sale, make sure you let me know about it and I'll try to verify it. Cosmic Aura up $100 to $100. So some movement on that stuff, some interaction. Cosmic Aura up 77%, Light Aura up 50%, Water Aura up 25%, and then some softness too across the board. Looking at your EV calculation then, keep in mind that this one is skewed. So a lot of boxes are just heavily skewed towards the full hollow side. The true EV, based on what the company wanted the box to be, would have been $569.13. But if you do get a skewed box, which are very common, you'll be sitting at $828.30. So there actually is arbitrage here again, and we've seen this pretty consistently across the board for Metazoo. The issue with the arbitrage in any TCG is that then it takes time to sell the card. So for me, I do see an arbitrage opportunity here because I ship out 30 to 40 cards a day on TCG Player, and so I already have a funnel and an organized a system of kind of selling cards on TCG Player. If you don't have that, it's going to take you a lot longer to sell those cards, so just keep that in mind. All right, looking at Kickstarter, there's a lot of softness. Everyone has been talking about this a lot across the board for Metazoo. A lot of softness here. Even booster boxes, it's hard to figure out exactly where the value is because the sold listings on eBay don't really tell you the whole story. So there's a lot of other things happening kind of behind the closed doors as usual with this stuff. But that being said, let me pop up the eBay right here for you. That being said, there was some sold listings that we can take a look at that are pretty similar to what I'm seeing in private stuff. And that is like a non-alt box sold for $7,000. So that's what I'm closing this at, $7,000 for a non-alt box. And then there was a regular box that ended at, so this was another non-alternating box that ended a couple days ago. So if you wanted to take the median there, that's probably more realistic, honestly, somewhere between 92. Yeah, we can cut this in at the non-alt to like 77.50. But the sealed alternating regular boxes, it's been a while since we've seen a sold listing at 8K. And I am seeing these move around 7K, like 6,800 to 7K on the secondary market. And like when you see this is what like the people doing comps are going to have a hard time right now, because if you are looking at eBay for the recent sold listing, you're going to focus in on the $7,000 one. So this is where if you are selling, you need to just list your price and stick with it and just say, this is what I'm asking. And you might not sell for a couple of days until people kind of forget about the sold listing. But if you are buying, you need to also consider that and say, hey, look, this one's sold, and try to get that. If you're selling, though, I think you're looking more towards this price from 3 days ago rather than this price from 2 days ago or whatever it is. So that's what I would focus on if I were you. And then just know that, again, there's a lot of things flowing right now, in my opinion, into Wilderness. So you might just want to wait for a while to see what happens. Opinion time. All right, let's look into We're going to go straight to reverse hollows. Reverse hollow bronze are up 42% because there was a sale of Tripodoro at 400 on eBay. So that has really shifted the market. And then also the Chibi Mothman at 140. So some of these are soft, some of these are not soft. It's really important to understand that. Like Bat Squatch, super soft. Bunny Man, super soft. There's been a lot of softness, but then there's these interesting sales where like a Tripodoro sells for what it was selling for, even beginning of the year, or back the high, one of the highest sales was back in September at 400. So interesting to see some of that stuff, and that is skewing the EV quite significantly for that set. So just make sure you're aware of that. Looking at your reverse hollow silvers, some softness in Squonk, which we just recently saw a big buyout on. From $31 all the way up to $85, and then now we're back down to $50. Einfield Monster at up 25% from 40 to 50, so there is some interaction going on, and then some softness on a couple of the other ones. Reverse hollow golds are actually up 2 weeks in a row, up 4%. Reverse hollow golds across the board, like Mothman up to 850. Again, you're starting to see some of those people who pulled back and sold some stuff. Now we're starting to see that catch up, and the market kind of absorb some of these higher end cards. But the market is not absorbing some of the lower end stuff, like Sinkhole Sam and Beast of Busco, even like Loveland Frogman. Honestly, something that you would think that the market would start to absorb. Although that one had an uptick last week, so maybe that's what it is. Then you have your artifacts. Again, some of those are a little soft too, but then Black Hole Shard just kind of in there with like right back to the price that we were at a couple weeks ago. So the market's really interesting. This is definitely a time, if you are a big fan of the game, if you're in this for the long haul, this is certainly a time to start to look for some of these things. Like if you can get a medium third eye that the person is using, the last sold listing of $41, historically looking at the charts, that seems like a good price. But if that's if you are here, if that's what you want for your collection, this seems like a good time to get it. So if this is like a time where you're like, hey, I'm looking to get out, I don't know, it seems soft right now. It doesn't seem like the time to get out as people are buying things for wilderness. I would honestly wait a couple weeks and see how the market shifts, because there's not a lot of selling going on, or a lot of buying going on. So just be careful. Bigfoot down 12%, Hodag down 30% to $49. And then as you look at your hollow golds, still some more softness. Bigfoot, one of the ones that's going up. It's like crazy. Mothman down 36% to 2,075. Everything just seems to be all over the place. Your artifacts some of them are down, some of them are up. Like, why is Earth's Core up 50% and Black Hole Shard is down 33%? Like, don't you people know that UFO was coming out soon? Anyway. Like Chaos Crystal soft again. So there's a lot of ups and downs. Growth up 65%. Phoenix Grain up 57%. Silver Bullet up 26%. Babe the Blue Ox up 100%. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of ups and downs here. And then like Mothman down 36%. Some of it just doesn't make sense to really anybody. So we'll get into it at the end here. Your EV calculation then, the true EV based on what they wanted is 4,714. I don't remember if this is skewed or not. If it is skewed, it would be sitting at $6,787. So that's kind of where we are across the board. Things are all over the place, and this is where you need to do a couple things. If you believe in the game, you need to not be a hero. You need to like really buy the things that you want and that you feel is a good deal. Pay the price that you feel comfortable paying. If you were in this for investment and the tendies, as a lot of people call them, I think you still need to be careful selling right now, because honestly, the market it's not moving quick in my opinion. Again, my opinion. A lot of people are waiting, and a lot of people are waiting to see what happens with Wilderness before they do any buying or whatever. So a lot of impact with this Wilderness release, in my opinion, if I were selling things, I would be waiting until post Wilderness to see kind of how that flux out. And then if I'm looking to complete my Kickstarter collection, this seems like a good time to do it. This seems like the time, as prices are kind of down, to pick the cards that you need. Like, I would not be looking to buy a Tripodoro right now. If I needed a Tripodoro and the last sold listing is $400, that's not what I would be looking to buy right now. I would be looking at like Space Penguins, right? If I need a Space Penguins, okay, now it's kind of time to start looking for a Space Penguin. So look around for the cards that you need and see which ones of those have sold for less recently, and then target those cards and try to, make a buy offer for them or whatever. That's what I would do. Anyway, who am I? This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic day. If you want access to all this data, I do have a collection tracker over on the Patreon at patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG, where you also get access to pre-orders. Now it's kind of public pre-order, but that pre-order was before anybody else. You do save money on your pre-orders over at Cavdane's Market. If you are looking to pick up this product, it does support the channel whenever you buy from me. And I do try to be, relatively competitive with pricing, especially if you are a patron. So hope you guys have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.